have found people, find people, want to do life together. And when we give, we want to give graciously and generously out of the grace that's given to us. That is who we are as a church. That is what we stand on, and that's what we operate through. So I want to make sure you know that. We say that throughout the year, but I want you to know that that vision for us is hot and clear and what God has called us to do. And we're going to keep moving and pressing forward in that. We are in a series called Emotions. Everyone say emotions. We all have them. And some of us do a really good job of displaying all of them. All the emotions that there's about 90 that scholars and psychiatrists say we have about 90 emotions, mixing this emotion with this emotion, and you got about 90 distinct emotions. And so the first week I had the awesome privilege to preach on what? Joy. Good. You guys, some of you were here 2 weeks ago. That was good. Preach on joy, and that's kind of the easy one. But if you read, hopefully you read what I told you to read at the end of the service about Amos. I believe it was Amos 9, or in the book of Amos, where what happens if you don't have joy? Because God will take from you. If you're not joyous of what he provides for you, he said, I'll just take it and give it to somebody else. And so we need to be joyous in every situation, even when it's hard to be. Our strength is our joy is made through the strength we have in Christ. So we have joy. And then last week, Jason talked about what? Sadness. Oh, woe is me, sadness. And why are we sad? And what does it mean to carry sadness with us? And that's not how God has created us. I didn't know this until Jason preached it, but it never says anywhere in the Bible that Jesus was ever happy, that Jesus ever smiled. Like we assume so, but Jesus was a man of sorrows. Jesus wept for his heart was broken for the people. He had compassion. And so Jesus carried a lot of sorrow and sadness with him, but he lived it out the way God has called to his act. Encourage you in your sadness to find a way to move through it, to push through it. It's not a bad thing to be sad. But today, I get the privilege to talk to you about what? Not the Redskins. Anger. Yeah, red for anger. 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 Who here has ever been angry before? Hands that up. Get angry. People. Get around. People with problems cause people to get angry. So we're going to talk about anger. What is how and why we are angry. God created this way. So, anger. In the Bible, anger shows up 256 times. 256 times the word anger shows up. And that's a lot. There's a lot of anger going on in the Bible. God's dealing with a lot of angry people, a lot of frustrated people. So God has a way and teaches us how to be angry. Anger is something that we all can identify with. At one time or another, we all have been angry at someone or at something or some situation to a degree. Some of us even have, even though you, some of us even have anger problems, anger issues, where it's not something that's just momentarily, like you have anger within you. And you need to seek help to control your anger, to get your anger under control. I think we can learn some things this morning when it comes to the times when we get angry. So we're going to look at chapter 4, verse 26. House Bible is there.
Ephesians chapter 4, verse 26. And we're going to talk about the purpose of anger. The purpose of anger. Ephesians 4:26 says this: in your anger, do not sin. Don't let the sun go down while you're still angry. I'm going to say it again. In your anger, do not sin. Do not let the sun go down while you're still angry. That's the New Living Translation. The NASB puts it like this. Another translation says, be angry, and yet do not sin. Do not let the sun go down on your anger. Which is it? Is it okay to be angry? Is it not okay to be angry? What is it? The answer to this question, we have to see what anger really is. What anger really is. We think anger is a bad thing. A lot of times when we see an angry person or anger rises up within us, we attribute to something bad, something negative. But that's not always the truth. See, anger in itself is neutral. Anger in itself is neutral. It's neither good or bad. It is who you are. It's a makeup of you. Like, breathing is good. Like, breathing is good, and then if you don't breathe, it's bad. It's neutral. Like, it's here. What you do with anger is what makes it good or bad. Anger in itself is neutral. We have to see what comes out of anger. When we think of anger, we just think that it's always a bad or horrible thing. But that's not always the case. Anger can be used for good and it has a good purpose at times if we use it correctly. If we don't use it correctly, what happens? It leads us to sin. In verse 27 in Ephesians, if you look in the Bible, it talks about how anger will lead us to sin. And when you mix it with other things, it leads to malice. And that's in verse 31 in Ephesians 4. Anger is a physical state of readiness. Anger is just a physical state of readiness. You are ready to act. When you get angry, your body has prepared you to act. That is what anger happens. God is giving us anger as a survival tool, as a way to survive. It supplies us the power and the preparedness to act. When we get angry, it supplies us the power and the preparedness to go and act. For example, what will happen if you saw a stranger fighting with your child? I can already see some of you like, what? Like, what? What's going on? Y'all ever seen a mom turn into a mama bear? Like a sweet old mom, like a regular mom was like, oh, like sweet mom. And then the right over there, and then mama bear come out. You're like, uh-oh, that's not good. I've seen this before with my lovely wife. She is soft-spoken, smiles. But when our kids were small and they're playing at the playground, my wife would turn into this mama bear at the slide. Just at the slide, like we're at the playground, like the merry-go-round and all that, but at the slide, and our kids were small, she would turn into like, I will knock this over if you knock my kid over coming on the slide. You know how kids just like one after another? She will chew anybody out. She will eat you, she will bite you if you try to slide over her child. To the point one time when we were sleeping and we went to the park and we had played and some of that had happened and she had to rear up and like, that's not going to go down. She got a little angry at these kids that weren't, these bigger kids that won't. Y'all get mad at bigger kids when they mess around with little kids. You're like, why are you even on the playground? So we had that interaction earlier. And so we went to bed that night and we're sleeping and I'm trying to fall asleep and my wife, in the middle of her sleep, jumps out of the bed and starts heading like towards the window. I grab her. She's like, "They're gonna run him over." I'm like, "We're home. We're home. It's okay." Like she was still reliving like this big kid about to take out her son, and she was gonna fight him. I'm like, "Calm down. Come to bed, love. It's okay. Go to sleep. Shh, it's okay." She turns into this other person when she became angry, this mama bear. Or if you saw a stranger trying to invite a child you know into a car, like a suspicious car, like you would get mad, you would get angry, and that's okay. You're supposed to. You're not gonna go, "Oh, it's all right. Fend for himself. Should say no anyway." No, you're gonna get mad. You're gonna get mad at that adult who is trying to take advantage of a child. That's when anger is good. When we respond in anger to protect, when we respond in anger for preparedness to use that power, it's good. That's a good thing. Anger is good. Your heart, what happens when you get angry? Your heart starts beating faster. Your pupils dilate. Your body releases more sugar. You get more energy. Your heart starts pounding. Your blood pressure starts to go up. You are ready to act. Your body is not waiting for it to like get ready. It's sending everything you need to respond right there and right now. Anger is not a bad thing. The purpose of anger is for power and preparedness. Anger can be very beneficial. It even says so in the Bible. It says in the NASB, in the version I read earlier, it says, be angry. Be angry. So you're like, Pastor, you're saying that God said that I can be angry? Yep. Be angry. Be angry. I'm telling you, all of you, it is okay to be angry. It's okay to be mad. Be angry. So when you get angry and your mom and dad ask you why you're angry, it says, because God said I could be. I'm mad. I'm angry. Be angry. It is an emotion that God has given us for a particular reason, for a purpose. Be angry, it says. But what's the problem with anger? We have the purpose of anger, but what's the problem? The purpose of anger is so we can act and respond and be ready. But what's the problem with anger? Anger can also be dangerous. It can be very dangerous. It says, and do not sin. Be angry, yet don't sin. Be angry, yet don't sin. You're like, that sounds like an oxymoron. Because usually when I'm angry, I'm about to sin. Like it's about to go down. Usually when we are angry, sin seems to follow. At least in my life. Y'all may set the perfect example and y'all gonna show me how to do it. But when I usually get angry, sin is usually like right around the corner. God is saying, no, be angry, but do not sin. I'm like, how do we do that? How do we get to that place? See, when we have all the power and then it's mishandled, when you have all the power ready to react, but you mishandle it, when you have all the power, but it's not under control, it can be very destructive. It can be like giving a 14-year-old a Ferrari. You got all this power and it's all ready to go, but if I don't handle it well, it's gonna turn out bad. 14-year-old may be like, no, this is awesome, but everybody else is like, no, this is bad. Like, don't, this is going to turn out horrible. You have all this power, but if you mishandle it, if you don't use it under control, it will be destructive. If anger is expressed inappropriately, it has severe consequences. And the chain reaction from those consequences the ripple effect is huge. We have to use our anger the way God has asked us to. So the reason why we look upon anger negatively is because usually it's expressed with aggression or hostility. Usually it's expressed with a lot of like I told you I'm not going, like a lot of head moving like this, and a lot of hand clapping, or a lot of like your chest sticks out, or a lot of like getting mad and yelling, or putting people down, or pressing people down, oppressing them, or I'm gonna strike you with this, or I'm gonna hit, or I'm gonna get back at you, or I'm going to have revenge at you. It usually doesn't turn out well, because it usually has aggression or it has hostility tied to it. And we see this illustrated not just in school. If you go to any school, any public school, a private school, when someone gets mad, usually it doesn't go well. Usually there's something negative happens. It goes out in the community, on the sports fields, wherever you go, you see the anger usually comes out with hostility and usually aggression. But also in the Bible. We see anger played out horribly. Moses spent 40 days and 40 nights on Mount Sinai. Moses spent 40 days, 40 nights. We're going to talk about this in our next series called The 10 Commandments, where we're going to talk about how we got 10 Commandments, why they're written, and what is God teaching us through them. But Moses went to Mount Sinai 40 days, 40 nights. While he's up there on the mountain, they're waiting for Moses to come back from the word of God. The Israelites, they're waiting for Moses to come back. But they get tired of waiting. And while they're up there, the children of God decide, hey, we've been waiting so long, we're gonna make another God for us to worship. And so they make Aaron, who was supposed to be Moses' right-hand man, who is Moses' right-hand man, he allows this to happen. He's kind of like, okay, we're gonna do this. Moses has been gone for over a month. Like he died up there, and God's abandoned us, so we're gonna make a new God. So they make this calf, this golden calf, took all the gold, made this calf, and they start worshiping this calf. Well, Moses, it took a long time for God. He was chilling with God. Moses was chilling with God on the mountain. So by the time he climbed up the mountain, spoke with God, and climbed down the mountain, it took 40 days. When he got back, Moses was irate. Moses was angry because they came back, they had the golden calf up there, and they were twerking, and they were doing dances, and Moses was like, what are you doing? And he took the 10 Commandments and he threw them down the ground. What God just gave him, he took it, threw it on the ground, shattered it, because he was so angry at what the Israelites did, what they did. And his response was negative. That is not how God wanted Moses to respond. Moses, again, he gets in trouble for being angry because Israelites, they're complaining. Anybody got children when they're thirsty and hungry? Like their complaining goes to another level. Like it gets super ridiculous. Like, what's wrong with you, child? Like, or you're like, when I'm hungry, I get hangry. Talked about that. That's a new emotion, hangry. So they were hangry. They were hungry. They were thirsty. And Moses, we're hungry. Moses, we're thirsty. You brought us out here. God is going to abandon us. And he's like, fine. He goes and prays to God. And God says, Moses, go strike this rock, and then water's gonna come out. And so as he's getting ready to do this, they keep doing this. They keep chirping and keep chirping. And he is so mad. He takes the staff and he hits it twice. Bam! 2 times. Once out of anger and once out of doing what God told him to do. And God says, I told you to do it 1 time. And because of his anger, God had to discipline him. And he was not allowed to go in the promised land because he disobeyed God in his anger. Anger has this negative repercussion when we don't handle it the way we're supposed to, when we don't have it under control the way we're supposed to. You see, when anger can be dangerous, danger comes with anger. Danger comes with anger. It's going to be on the screen. All right, so look at this. Do you see a similarity here? It's okay to be angry, or have anger, but danger usually comes with it. If we cover up this D right here, you have anger with anger. When we add the D to it, it becomes danger with anger. And the D represents the devil. When we allow the enemy to get involved in our anger, it becomes dangerous. See, Jesus was mad and Jesus was angry often, yet he did not sin. For us, we don't do that. For us, when we allow the enemy to come into our anger, danger usually comes with it. And that is what we're going to talk about, church. This is what God doesn't want. He doesn't want us to be a dangerous person when we become angry. It's usually what happens when like, y'all heard the term, when mom ain't happy, ain't nobody happy. Like, that's like, we always say that, and moms don't want it that way. Moms don't want to be like, yeah, I'm a wreck this house. I get mad, y'all better watch out, tornadoes coming through. Like, moms don't want to have that. Moms want to be able to be angry and be okay to be angry, but not have this like, oh my gosh, we're fearful of mom. Or when there's a bad day for dad at work, and he comes in and he kicks the dog, and he's slamming doors, and he's like short with everybody. Everybody's like, oh no, like danger. The enemy's in dad's anger. Like, maybe I'm just talking about me. Maybe y'all like, no, I don't do that. But maybe that's just me when I get angry, when I had to drive or something bad happened. I come home, I'm short with my kids, short with my wife, and I'm like frustrated and anger. I get danger. It's like danger. I'm not handling it the way God's told us to. Ephesians 4:27 said, verse 26 says, be angry. In your anger, do not sin. But verse 27 says, and do not give the devil a what? A foothold. Do not give the devil a foothold. See, in our anger, when we get angry, the enemy says, this is my time to act. This is my time to capitalize on their anger. Do not sin in your anger. And you may be saying, I've never seen it done well. When someone usually gets angry, it's over. It's curtains for somebody. Like, it's going down. Like, it's going to be a bad day for somebody or some situation. You give the devil a foothold, he will pull you down. And you usually pull others down with you in the midst of your anger. Do not give the devil a foothold. That's the problem with anger. It's that it allows the enemy to take our anger and become danger. But we're permitted to be angry. Third point, we're permitted to be angry. We know the purpose of anger. We know the problem with anger. And now we're permitted to be angry. Anger is permitted, everyone. Be angry and do not sin. Jesus got angry, but he never sinned when he was angry. Mark 3:1-5. You can turn there. It's also going to be on the screen. Mark chapter 3, verse 1-5. We're going to see here how Jesus gets angry and what happens. So verse 1, it says this. After a time, Jesus went into the synagogue, and a man with a shriveled hand was there. Some of them were looking for a reason to accuse Jesus. So they watched him closely to see if he would heal on the Sabbath. And Jesus said to the man with the shriveled hand, stand up in front of everyone. Then Jesus asked them, which is the law on the Sabbath? Which is lawful on the Sabbath? To do good or to do evil? To save a life or to kill? But they remained silent. Verse 5, he looked around at them in anger, and he deeply distressed at their stubborn hearts. And he said to the man, stretch out your hand. And he stretched out his hand, and his hand was completely restored. This, I'm just going to, okay, I tell you guys, this is how I read the Bible. I read it where it's like a movie. So Jesus in a synagogue, right? He's in there teaching, and there's a man with a shriveled hand. A person with a shriveled hand, they don't want you to see it, so they kind of hide it. They would put it like under their tunic, or like they would wear a long cover over their hand. They didn't want anyone to see that they had a shriveled up hand or they had a deformity, because usually they would get shunned and pushed away, like, get out of here. So he had a shriveled hand. Jesus knew his hand was shriveled up. But also, the Pharisees knew he was shriveled up. And so Jesus sees this. He decides, he hears from the Father to heal this man. Jesus only did what the Father was doing and only said what the Father said to say. So Jesus heard from God to heal this man. And so he saw the man, and he could feel what was going on in the room. So Jesus is like, hey, yo, stand up. Come here. Let's call this guy Brian. Brian, come here, Brian. Brian, come here. Come stand right here. And Jesus points to the guy. He's looking at him. He's like, what is lawful to do on the Sabbath? What should I do on the Sabbath? Is it better to do good or to do bad? Is it better to do good or evil? Is it better to kill or is it better to give life? And they're like, kind of like you guys. Quiet. They're like, Jesus like, oh, I see. I see what's going on here. And Jesus looks around the room in anger. You guys ever feel like when someone's against you, like you walk into like a conversation and then it kind of stops, you're like, what? Yeah, you feel that, you get that thing inside of you, like, they talking about me? Like you start like you get a little like mad or I don't know. Like that's how Jesus, like, I know exactly what they're thinking about. Like he is getting angry, looks around the room, the whole synagogue in anger. He's like, you know what? Stick out your hand. The man pulls out his hand and it's healed. And I bet you that place went ballistic, like, and Jesus is like, yeah, like what? Like, like I feel like he's like, what? Say something. Say something. Like I feel like Jesus was like, y'all are in the wrong place. Like your heart's not in the right place. But his anger was, because Jesus was going to do what God told him to do. And they were mad for Jesus for doing what God was telling him to do. I'm like, come on, Jesus. Jesus is about to wreck house, but he did not sin in his anger. And that's what we're going to look at. He did not sin in his anger. It's not wrong for Jesus to be angry here, because these men of God should want the same thing that God wants. These Pharisees, these teachers of the law, these Christians should want what God wants. And it doesn't matter if it was on a Sabbath or on a non-Sabbath day. If God is saying heal, then we should heal. But that was not where they were. And so these Christians were mad at another Christian for doing what God was telling them to do. And Jesus did not sin in the middle and amongst all those who were angry. See, the Pharisees were angry that Jesus was not going to observe the Sabbath the way they think or they thought he should observe the Sabbath. If you go to chapter 2, verse 22, 23, 24, it's not going to be up there, but you can see how they're upset about Jesus because Jesus is not observing the Sabbath. What Jesus did a couple chapters earlier, Jesus and his homeboys, Jesus' disciples, are walking through the wheat field, and they're just taking the tops of the wheat, taking the grain, they're taking it, and they're like, you guys sunflower seed fans in here? I love sunflower seeds. And so they basically are doing what you would do with sunflower seeds. He's taking them, and they're taking them in their hand, and they're getting the husk off, so they're shaking the covering off the husk, and they're just eating, they're popping them in their mouth. So they're going through the wheat field, and they're taking them, and they're rubbing the husk off, and they're eating them. And they're like, "You're working on the Sabbath," and Jesus is like, "Get real, I'm hungry." He is upset. So they're already thinking like, this dude is not observing the Sabbath. So they're already mad at him from a distance. They see him like not doing what they think he should do. So Jesus goes to the synagogue, and these same dudes are there, and they're like, watch he do something. And Jesus can feel it. He can feel the tension. He's mad. He's upset, but in him being angry, he did not sin. If you look at Luke 6:11, then themselves, this is the Pharisees, them themselves were filled with anger. This is the same story we're talking about, but Luke says it this way, that they were filled with rage and discussed together how they might do it to Jesus, how they might do him in, how they might kill Jesus. They're so upset that Jesus is not doing what they think he should do, that they want to kill him. Their anger is not being expressed in the right way. Let's look at the anger of Jesus. Jesus had the right motive. The Pharisees were angry at Jesus for the wrong motive, for their selfish anger. But Jesus was a threat to their authority and their leadership. Jesus didn't hold to their rules. Jesus was holding to the law and the rules and the leading of God, the leading of the Holy Spirit, not to the law and the leading of man. And so they're upset that Jesus is not abiding by their authority. They're not abiding by his authority at all. My pages are messed up. Bear with me. So Jesus never got angry because of what anyone ever did to him. Check this out. Jesus never got angry for what anybody ever did to him. I'm sure Jesus was hurt when people didn't believe in him. I'm sure Jesus felt pain when they hurt him, when they would spit at him, when they would call him names. I feel like Jesus would be like, that doesn't feel good within him. Like, I believe he was hurt when Peter denied him 3 times, but he didn't get angry at him. When his disciples ran away from him, he didn't get angry at them. When he was nailed to the cross and they were hurling insults at him and throwing rocks at him, Jesus didn't get angry with them. He actually asked for their forgiveness. Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. Every time someone came at Jesus, directly at him, he never responded in anger. When did Jesus get angry? When they were opposed to what God was calling them to do. When they were opposed to doing what they were supposed to do. That is when he got angry. He says, you can do what you want to this man, to this body, and I will not get angry. How about y'all? When somebody get at you, what's your response? Okay. When somebody try to get at me, my first response was not going down. My pride rises up, my anger rises up. Jesus never got angry when somebody came directly at him. Like, Jesus, the standard he sets for us is so high. How do we live to that standard, God? How can we be angry yet and not sin? How can we live the way Jesus has lived? Jesus was angry over the right things. Jesus was angry over the right reasons. Jesus was angry over righteousness. Jesus never got angry at people. Jesus only got angry at the sin that they were committing against God. See, verse 3 and 5, he says, deeply distressed at their stubborn hearts. He was deeply angry, deeply bothered at their stubborn hearts, at their sin, not at who they are. In church, when we get angry, when our children do something wrong, when a coworker does something wrong, when we see injustice going on, we should get angry at what has been done and not angry at that person. I say this in my pre-marriage counseling every time in one of our sessions. I say, look, when you have a problem, when there is an issue, let's be angry. Let's keep our emotion at the issue and not at the person. Jesus was never angry at the person. He wasn't angry at Peter when he denied him 3 times. He was disappointed in Peter's action and in the sin. Jesus got angry when injustice was being done against people or against God. But Jesus never got angry for the sins being committed against him. We get angry when people sin against us. Not against God. We get angry when people sin against us. I will be open and honest with you. This was a gut check in me writing this. I get more angry when someone curses me than when someone curses God. And that's not how it should be. When someone takes God's name in vain, I should be like, whoa. Someone takes my name in vain, I should be like, it's good. It's usually the reverse. If somebody's like, blank you, Dione, I'm like, whoa. Someone's like, blank God, I'm like, bro, chill. Why you gotta, am I the only one? I guess I'm the only one. And God was like, Dione, your anger is misplaced. You should be angry at that taking place, that they're using God's name in vain, and you should be like, oh, that's not cool. That's not, I'm getting angry, and so I need to respond the way God's called me to respond to my anger. Yet, when it comes to me, I need to be like, you're mad at me because of Christ in me. But usually it's the reverse, and God was like, Dione, you need to check that. You need to check that when you're working with the coaches and the athletes and things go down against me and you just let it. But let somebody move into your parking space real quick. I'm like, I get mad. I get angry. I want to honk my horn. God was checking me. And maybe in this time when it comes to your anger, he's checking you too. He's like, are you getting angry over the right things? See, Jesus had the right motives why he was angry. How are your motives when you get angry? How are your motives? You feel like they're trying to get at you. It's all about you. And God is saying, it's not about you. It's not about you. You should be getting angry over injustice and when a sin is done against me, but you yourself don't think so highly of yourself. Whew. I was like, dang. Jesus had the right motives. Good example, road rage. None of y'all ever driven angry. I've driven with some of you, and y'all are perfect drivers. But the people around you, road rage. There's people who get upset at driving when someone cuts in front of them, when someone is going too slow, when someone is riding their bumper. That's my pet peeve. If you don't get back from behind, like, you don't give me some distance, like, that is mine. Like, you can cut me off and I'll be like, oh, go ahead. But if you were riding my bumper, I might want to tap my brakes. Like, that's mine. But people get road rage to the point where they want to kill someone. My brother's not here. I'm gonna tell a story anyway because he's not here. Jairus, my younger brother, he had some road rage when he was younger, where this person was upset. They were driving crazy around him, and he was not gonna let it go. He was by himself, so he followed this person. He followed this person all the way to where they were going. And my brother gets out the car and he puts on a scene. If you know him, he ain't gonna do nothing. But he put on a scene. He was like, whatever. And the person's like drives off. He's like, yeah. I was like, bro, what if they shot you? He's like, then it would have been bad. Like, that would have been bad. But like, it took him totally out of his character. Like, he was totally upset. You should let him tell the story. It's hilarious. Like, we think like it's a learning lesson. We should learn from it. But yeah, he had some road rage. He's like, ever since then, I've never done that again. Because I was like, what are you doing, bro? Like, that's not right. But road rage on the road, we see it every day, especially if you drive 495 or 50 or 66 at work. We see it often. We can learn from Jesus to be angry about the things that matter. Too often we're angry over trivial things. Too often we're angry over things that really aren't important. See, when Jesus got angry, it's because his anger was in the right place with the right motive, for the right reasons. So Jesus had the right motives. And second, Jesus had controlled his anger. Jesus controlled his anger. He had the right motive, and then he controlled it. Jesus could have called down from heaven all the angels and just start lopping off heads. Like, he could have called the angels, and he could have, like, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Rambo, the whole thing, like, everybody, way-laced everybody. Jesus could have said that. He had the power, authority to do that. You sin, you deserve death. That's the punishment for sin. But Jesus didn't do that. He didn't. He controlled his anger. And what did Jesus do? In his anger, he glorified God. In his anger, he glorified God, which is like something I can't say I've done. Maybe I've done it, but I can't say I've done it on a regular basis. In the midst of his anger, he says, I'm going to give God ultimate glory. In his anger, he looked around the room, right? Remember, he looked around the room and he was like, in anger, saw everyone. And he's like, he has so much distress in his heart. And he's like, you know what? I'm going to glorify God. Heal. In the name of Jesus, in the name of the Father, be healed. And the man was healed. In his anger, he gave God glory. What would your life look like if in the middle of your anger, you gave God ultimate glory? That is what he's calling us to do in our anger. Our anger should bring glory back to God. You're like, I don't know how to do that. Jesus is showing the example. In the midst of my anger, we should say, God, what do you want me to say? What do you want me to do? And that is where Jesus was. He looks around the room, he's getting anger, and God is saying, go heal that man. And he says, in the name of the Father, be healed. When you're angry at your children, when you're angry at your spouse, when you're angry at the car next to you, you're angry at your boss, you're angry at the coworker, you're angry at the government, you're angry at your situation, you're angry at your finances, you say, God, how can I bring you glory through my anger? And I can't tell you what God's going to tell you to do. I can't. He's like, God, I'm so angry at work. Okay, go be a missionary. Oh, like what? God, I ain't ready to do that. Like, I don't know what he's going to tell you to do, but he will guide you to how to give him the most glory in the midst of your anger. That is the example that Jesus is showing that he had the right motive, something was wrong, and it was a sin against God, so his anger was in the right place, and then he brought God ultimate glory through his anger. Remember, at the end of the Ephesians 4, if you read Ephesians 4, if you go to the end of it, it talks about bitterness, it talks about forgiveness, it talks about love. See, all those things are choices. Bitterness, to be bitter, is a choice. To forgive is a choice. To love is a choice. You choose to be bitter. You choose to forgive. You choose love. Forgiveness and love aren't based upon a warm, fuzzy feeling that we have inside, but it is a choice. Anger is a choice. It's a decision. What you're going to do with this feeling that you have. What are you going to do with it? It is a choice. See, we tend to blame other people and other circumstances for our anger, how we respond in our anger. And you hear, if you work with youth, or you I volunteer at the high schools and here, and we work with students, and you hear it often, they made me mad. Like something going down. Well, why'd you do that? They made me mad. Okay, like, all right. Yeah. Like, you're putting the blame on that other person. Or this situation made me mad. Therefore, I'm justified in how I responded. And God's like, not quite. That's not how it works. See, what happened may attribute to our stress. As Jesus says, he looked upon it and he was distressed. They are bringing me stress. How their hearts are, how they're acting is bringing me stress. That is truth. When something goes bad, you can feel the stress rising in you. What you do with it is a choice. And the choice is yours. Like, what are you going to do with your anger? What are you going to do with that feeling that arises? We can't put the blame on anybody else. We are responsible for our actions and reactions. That is what we're responsible for. Every one of us are responsible. Anything done to you or around you is what has happened. You're responsible for your actions and your reactions, not the other person. So if someone hits you in the face, you're responsible for your action. Oh, I ain't going to just let nobody hit me in the face. That's your choice. If somebody gets at you, somebody steals from you, somebody takes from you, how you respond is your choice. When you're angry, how you respond is your choice. It's my choice. You are in charge of your anger. You're in charge of your emotions. Your emotions are not in charge of you. I say this to my children all the time. You are in control of your emotions. Your emotions are not in control of you. You control who you are. You control how you respond. You control how you respond when you and your brother are playing and one of you get hurt. How are you going to respond to you being hurt? Usually ends up like slamming doors, storming out, or there's a scuffle. Rarely. But you are in control of that. I used to say this, my one of my best friends in the world, Marty, we've grown up since he was a kid, and I've been in his life. And there's things where he would see, like, I should get mad, and I didn't. He's like, bro, how come you're not mad? I'm like, because I'm controlling my own emotions. I decide if I'm going to get mad or not. I decide if I'm going to let that be anger or not. It's like, how do you do that? I'm like, I don't know. I just do it. I don't know how you're so creative. Like, how do you do that? You're like, I don't know. I just do it. But for me, that's something I don't really have to do. I'm in control of that. I'm not going to let you stress me out to the point where I'm going to act a certain way. Like, I'm just going to pray for you. I'm going to move and I'm going to do what I can do best for you because I'm in control of my emotions. Let's look at another time when Jesus was angry as we wrap up. Jesus was angry here in Mark 11. In Mark 11, Jesus is angry. I love this about Jesus. Mark 11, verse 15 to 17. On reaching Jerusalem, it says this: Jesus entered the temple, the courts, and began to drive out those who were buying and selling there. He overturned the tables of the money changers and the benches of those selling doves, and he would not allow them to carry any merchandise through the courts. This is what I think. So again, this is how I read the Bible. I think I see it's kind of funny. But Jesus is upset because they are in his Father's house selling stuff. Like, Jesus, there's not that you can't sell, they're selling sacrifices. Not that you're selling Girl Scout cookies or anything. I'm not talking about that. They're selling things that are supposed to be attributed to God. That would be like us selling you communion. You're like, whoa. That's basically what they were doing. And Jesus is irate. He is upset. And in another passage, Jesus actually made a whip to drive them out. He did this more than once. You think of what Jesus was thinking about? Well, he's made a whip. He went around backwards, I'm going to tear some tail up. He's making this whip to drive them out. So Jesus is flipping over a table and stuff. We can picture that. But then it says that Jesus would not let them carry it through the courtyard. So I see people carrying stuff. Jesus get that out of here. Jesus has knocked that. I just see they're whoa, whoa. They get out of I just see him just knocking pigeons out of their hand and get that out of here. He's Mutombo, no, no, get that out of here. He is so karate goaltender with all of it. He is. In the whole process, he's angry, he's mad, and he didn't sin in that. we would look at him like, ooh, Jesus lost his cool. Like, Jesus definitely sinned. Y'all remember that time Jesus in the temple? He said, no, this is my Father's house. Have you ever seen a movie where he's like, this is my Father's house? Like, he flips over the table. God the Father was like, get him, Jesus. Get him. Hercules. Like, Jesus was like, he was acting the way he was supposed to act. Jesus did not sin in this anger here. That's what's amazing. It keeps going on, verse 17. And as he taught them, he said, it is written, my Father's house will be called a house of prayers to all nations, but you have made it a den of robbers. Even in his anger, y'all see how Jesus gave glory? Even in his anger, he starts teaching. He goes back to like, this is what God's word says, that this should be a house of prayer for all nations, yet you're changing it into places where robbers come in and steal. Jesus had the right motives, and Jesus was under control. Jesus had the right motives, and Jesus was under control every time that he got angry. So the period of anger. How long are we going to be angry? How long are we angry? I've asked that question. Have you ever asked that question to someone? How long are you going to be mad? How long are you going to stay mad? You mad, bro? You mad? How long are you going to stay mad? Like, how long are you going to stay angry? Let's look back where it says here. How long can you be angry? Verse 24 or 26 in chapter 4 Ephesians. Don't let the sun go down and you still be angry. So, church, I'm asking you not rhetorically, how long can you stay angry? One D-A-Y. One what? Day. Good job. Thank you, Dad. One day. You're allowed to be angry for one day. That's what God says. The worst thing to do, I hate it. I've sinned. I've messed up. I've gone to bed angry. Anybody else? So I don't be the only sinner in the room. Good. Woo. I've gone to bed angry. And you wake up and you're still what? Angry. How was your sleep when you went to bed angry? Horrible. Like, especially if it's your spouse. Like, I can't believe I'm laying next to, oh, God, oh. Like the whole night, you're like, if she snores one time, if she pulls this cover, oh, my, like, the whole night. And then I wake up, she's like, how are you? I'm like, go to the bathroom. Like, it's like, I'm still there. Like, she's like, what's wrong? Like, last night, she's like, you're still mad? You mad, bro? Like, you still upset about that? Like, God says one day. That is it. Do not go to bed and still be angry. You can still disagree. You can still be like, that wasn't cool, but I'm no longer that emotion, that ready to respond. So you go to bed with your body ready to respond, and you haven't responded. So your body is still like wrestling. It still has the sugar released, the adrenaline released. Your pupils are still dilated. Your blood pressure's up. Your heart is pumping, ready to respond, yet you did not respond. You went to sleep. Your body's like, nope. You get up, still ready. I need to respond. You have one day, church. One day to be angry. Not saying that the problem or the situation is resolved. Not saying that things are great and kumbaya, but you have one. The Bible says you have one. The sun goes down. Before you go to sleep, you have to get the anger out. It has to be dealt with. Do not. So we're allowed one day. How long are we allowed to be angry? One day. Now, y'all at your house and you and your spouse are arguing, you're your brothers and sisters, and you say, they still angry, going to bed. Like, Pastor Allen said you got one day. Like, no. Ephesians 4:26 said you got one day. Don't put that on me. Like, I don't want my name to be the bad name. Don't put my name in the middle of your conversation, your argument. You got one day. Like, don't go to sleep. I'm going to tell the pastor. Nope. Look at Ephesians 4:26. One day. So, to illustrate this, we have one day. How do you deal with your anger? We have the period of anger. So this is what usually happens. We get angry. I got this illustration. We get angry, right? This is us. We are good. We're full. We're good. But we got a little space. We got a little space right here. And someone makes you angry. Your spouse, child, work, government, situation, something out of your control, whatever it may be. You can bottle it up. So first, you get angry. Oh, it's filling up. Still angry. And now you're like, I'm going to try to go to bed. This is still, you go to bed, you wake up, you're still like, still mad. This is what happens when you ball it up. This bottle, you know what happens when you shake a bottle. This bottle's now like it's tight. Like I have agitated the molecules. Like I have mixed up the gases, and like, so it is ready to explode. It is ready to explode. This is what we do. We get angry, and some of us keep it in, and we keep it in, and we let it build, and we let it build, and we let it build. And if you do it enough, you can let it sit for as long as you want. You ever bought one in a grocery store? You ever gone to 7-Eleven or a gas station and somebody dropped it out, like it fell out, and they put it back? You're like, ooh, that's a setup. That's a setup, because somebody gonna come back and they gonna be, that's a setup. Why would you do that? Why didn't you just take that to the clerk and be like, my bad, this one fell out? You're like, put that back, close the door. You're like, oh, bro, why would you? That's wrong. You can let it sit. It's still got all this built up inside. And it's gonna explode. That's some of us, that's how we deal with it. Some of us, we do that. We just bottle it up, bottle it up, bottle it up, bottle it up. And then that next, it's just that unexpected person, like it's gonna come. Like here's the thing with anger, it has to be released. It has to be. If you do not, your body will shut down on you. Your body will shut down on you like ways like a heart attack. Your body will shut down on you with lack of sleep. Your body will shut down on you like shingles. Because anger is also attributed to stress. Like if you're angry, usually it's stress. Someone's added stress to you, like something stressed you, something's built up upon you, and your body's now gone to the response of ready to react. Like now you have this power, now you're prepared. But it is stress. Don't get it twisted. It is stress. Somebody is stressing you out, and you're going to respond in anger. Your body's ready to respond. It is stress. This bottle is under stress. And if I dropped it, especially if I dropped it on the cap, this bottle will shoot off. It'll just drop. We bottle it up. It's not healthy. It's not healthy. Just stress will cause your body to shut down if you don't handle it properly. My son, Marshall, he had a tourniquet that happened around his toe when he was an infant, inside of his sleeper. So, the little footy sleeper. He was sleeping, and in the middle of the night, a string tied around his toe while he was sleeping. It got tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter. He never cried, never woke up. It just happened slowly, tighter and tighter and tighter. Went to go, took him out of his sleeper. There was a little blood, pulled it. I was like, what is going on? Looked at it and literally severed like the skin. I could see pure white bone. He was an infant. And this moment stressed me out. I was 20, whatever, 6, 7 years old. I ended up, healthy person, getting shingles because I didn't deal with my stress. I was angry at the situation. I was angry at the clothing company. Like, oh, we're gonna sue. Like, I didn't say we didn't do that, but in my head, like, I was angry at them. Like, I was angry. Like, we went to the doctor, and like, I'm like trying not to cry, like, because they're like doing it, and the nurse is crying, and I'm like trying not to cry. I'm bawling it all up inside, and your body's like, no, I got to release it, and I got shingles. Like, how old are you? 20s. You got shingles? That's what happens later. When your immune system weakens. Stressed me out. I had shingles. Your body has to respond. You have to let anger out. So that's the next thing. You can bottle it up. That's one of the things you bottle it up, but it has to come out. And usually when it comes out, it gets messy. Usually a little bit of everybody gets some. Like if I went in the middle of the room and I just like opened this up, like I ain't gonna do it. But if I did it, you're all like, oh, don't do that. This is my good church clothes. Everybody gets some. You get some, and you get some, and you get some, you get some. We get Oprah with it. You get a car, and you get a car. Everybody gets a little bit of my anger. That's usually what happens. Ball it up, press it down. I'm trying not to. I'm trying to like please, like stop. Like you're getting distressed, and then you like crack it, and everybody or one person, or you do like you pop the cork like on one person, like poof, and they all get it. Like what? What did I do? Has to come out. Anger has to come out. But there's a right way to do it. It's controlled anger. So here's another example. Got another one. Someone makes you mad. You're like, all right, you know what? I'm just gonna count 10. I'm controlling it. Same thing still happened. Still angry. I can shake it back up. Control. This is what Jesus said. I'm angry, I'm upset, I'm stressed. They're causing me stress, but I'm going to bring God the most glory. I'm going to take this anger, and I'm going to control how I let it out. It has to come out. Let us bring glory and how we are angry, church. In your marriages, in your relationships, when you're at work. Be controlled in your anger. God, we serve a God that is slow to anger. Just imagine how angry God should be at us. We deserve his wrath. We've fallen short of his glory all the time. We sin against him all the time. There's not a day I've walked on this world where I have lived a perfect life. I've sinned, even when I'm like conscious of it. I've sinned against him. He's slow to anger. He should be putting us down. God says, you need to take how I forgive you, how I'm patient with you, how I love you, how I have compassion with you. The practice of anger. Close with this. Church, let us get angry over the right things. Let us get angry over the right things. The practice of anger. See, we should get angry when our sinful habits cause us to ruin our testimony inside of our homes, inside the community, with our family. That's when we should get angry. We should get angry over our lack of faithfulness when we pray. We should get angry when we come up with excuses of why we can't do what God's called us to do. We should get angry when we don't read his word, we don't meditate on it day and night, and we're not doing what we can to read his word. We should get angry when we don't make it an importance to attend church or make it an importance to get in fellowship with others. That should bring us anger. See, we should get angry when we see corruption in this world, when we see pornography, when we see crime, when we see alcohol and drug abuse, when we see disease and AIDS, when we see lust, when we see sex trafficking, when we see abuse. We should be angry at that. See, we should be angry. Let us get angry when millions of people are lost and dying and going to hell. That should bring us some kind of stress. That should bring us like, I got to do something about it. I want to bring God glory through these things that are causing me anger. We should get angry when we don't invite others to church. When God says, invite so-and-so to church, invite this person to the city group, invite others to come and be a part and come to the pool, and we don't. We should get angry about that. We should get angry when we don't share Christ in our witness. When we don't share Christ with our words. When God says, do this, and you don't, you should you should get angry about that action that you did or didn't do. In conclusion, you may have an anger problem this morning. Straight up might have one. But maybe your anger is buried deep inside your heart. You've pushed it down. And guess what? You cannot bury anger. You can't bury it dead because you're just burying it alive. Anger has to come out. There's no such thing as burying dead anger. I'm just going to bury it till it dies. It will not happen. It's going to come out, and usually it has a negative effect. Usually when it comes out in bitterness. It comes out in rage. It comes out in vengefulness. If you keep it in, it will destroy you. It will destroy your family. It will destroy what the blessings God, it will destroy you. I want to leave you with these words. I will leave you these words that God is slow to anger. God wants you to be filled with compassion. God wants you to be filled with peace, patience, joy, faithfulness, not with anger. Anger should be for a moment. Anger should not be for a lifetime. Church, let us live a life that, yes, be angry. There are moments when we should be angry. But in our anger, bring God ultimate glory. So the next time you feel anger, practice love. Next time you feel angry, practice forgiveness. Next time you get angry, practice kindness. Next time you get angry, practice patience. And watch and see how God uses your anger for his glory. Let's pray. God, you're a great God. You've created us in your image. You've created us in your likeness. So in your likeness, we have joy because you have joy. In your likeness, we become sad. We have sadness we deal with because, God, your heart has been broken. Your heart. You have been sad. And God, in your likeness, you've created us to be angry and have anger because you have anger. You have wrath. But God, There's times we fall short in how we respond in our anger. God, show us how to be angry, like your word says, be angry and do not sin. God, show us how to be angry and to bring you ultimate glory. That it's okay to be angry. Anger is a positive thing. God, show us how to release our anger in a way that is positive, that brings you glory, that doesn't hurt our testimony, that does not destroy relationships within us, that does not start a snowball chain reaction or effect that now is putting us behind months and months of rebuilding relationships, rebuilding our finances, rebuilding. We act out in our anger negatively. We hurt ourselves. Show us how to control our anger, that will bring you ultimate glory. For ultimately, we want to be like Christ. We want to be Christ-like, to be Christian. Show us how to walk as Jesus walked, to be angry, but to bring you ultimate glory. You're a great God. Speak to us as we close this time in worship. I ask these things in Jesus' name. Amen. Caleb's going to play a song. And if you want to receive prayer, if you just say, hey, can you just pray for me? I'm telling y'all, I had to deal with my own anger. And you're like, Dione, you're not angry. I have my own issues. I had to get it right with God. If you're like, I would like some prayer. It could be about anger. It could be about joy. It could be about sadness. It could be any of your emotions or anything. Opportunity to respond. Go for it. Elizabeth's going to be in the back. My dad's going to be back. I'll be up here. Just move. Use this time to say, all right, I want to get this right with God. God, we ask you to move. Meet with us here. In Jesus' name, amen.